Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. The United States has a rich history that is often showcased through its coins. One of the most iconic and valuable coins in American numismatics is the Lincoln Wheat penny. The penny, a symbol of American history and everyday life, has undergone various changes over the years. However, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and investors alike due to its rarity and the fascinating story behind it. To understand why the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny is so valuable, we need to first take a step back in time. The Lincoln Wheat penny was introduced in 1909, designed by the famous engraver Victor David Brenner. The design featured President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, which was a groundbreaking decision at the time. Lincoln, a towering figure in American history, was immortalized on a coin that would be used daily by people across the nation. The reverse of the coin, known as the wheat ears design, depicted two stalks of wheat. This was a nod to the nation's agricultural roots and was an appropriate symbol of the American spirit. For over 50 years, the Lincoln Wheat penny circulated throughout the country, from the Great Depression to World War II. But in 1959, the design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, marking the end of the era for the iconic wheat penny. While most of the Lincoln Wheat pennies are relatively common and can be found in pocket change or coin collections, some years are much more valuable than others. And one year in particular stands out: the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny. This coin is often a subject of fascination due to its unusual characteristics, which contribute to its high value in the numismatic world. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted during a time of great turmoil in the United States and around the world, during World War II. As the war raged on, there were shortages of copper, a key material used in the production of coins. The U.S. government, in response to these shortages, decided to strike pennies using a variety of materials. While most pennies from this year were made from the usual bronze composition, a small number of pennies were mistakenly struck on steel planchets, the same type of planchet that was used for the 1943 steel pennies. This mistake is what makes the 1944 steel penny so incredibly rare and valuable. Imagine it: during the chaos of wartime, a few of these pennies, which were intended to be made of copper, were instead struck on leftover steel planchets. Over the years, these rare coins have become a collector's dream. They are extremely difficult to find, and most examples are in poor condition due to their rarity and the way they were stored or handled. The 1944 steel penny isn't the only version of the coin that collectors look for, however. Most 1944 Lincoln Wheat pennies were made of the usual bronze alloy, and while these coins are not as valuable as the steel version, they are still sought after by collectors for their historical significance. The 1944 coin was minted in large numbers, but it is the steel version that draws the most attention. For anyone looking to invest in rare coins, knowing how to identify the 1944 steel penny is crucial. If you find a 1944 penny in your collection or while going through change, it's worth examining it carefully. The steel version has a distinct metallic look compared to the copper-colored pennies that we are used to seeing. The 1944 steel penny is often darker in color and has a slightly different texture when compared to its copper counterparts. Now, you might be wondering, how much is a 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny worth? Well, the value can vary greatly depending on the condition of the coin, whether it's been preserved, and if it's the rare steel variety. A 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny in average condition might only be worth a few cents, as it is still quite common. However, if you happen to have the rare 1944 steel penny, then the price skyrockets. For a 1944 steel penny in excellent condition, the value can be as high as $145,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $145,000. This makes the 1944 steel penny one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in American history. Its rarity, combined with its unique story and historical significance, make it an extraordinary find for collectors and investors alike. Finding such a coin is like finding a treasure, and many collectors have dedicated their lives to scouring coin shops, auctions, and collections, hoping to find the elusive 1944 steel penny. If you have one, you might just be holding a small piece of American history that is worth far more than its face value. Top 2. The United States has a rich history of coins that tell fascinating stories about the country's culture, economy, and historical events. One of the most iconic coins in American history is the Lincoln Wheat Penny. Introduced in 1909, this penny featured the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots. The Lincoln Wheat Penny became a staple of American currency for over half a century, circulating from the early 20th century until the design was replaced in 1959. Among all the years the Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted, 1949 holds a special place in the hearts of coin collectors and investors. The 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny might seem like just another year in the series, but there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. Understanding its value and what makes it special can turn an ordinary penny into a valuable piece of history. To fully appreciate the worth of the 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny, it's essential to look back at the era in which it was minted. The year 1949 was a post-World War II time in America. The country was recovering from the devastation of the war, and life was beginning to return to normal. The economy was on the upswing, and the public was becoming more engaged with collecting coins. During this time, millions of Lincoln Wheat pennies were produced, and 1949 was no exception. The U.S. Mint struck hundreds of millions of these pennies that year, with production across the 3 major minting facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. What makes the 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny so special? For one, it's a relatively common coin. Most 1949 pennies are still circulating in pocket change or have been kept in old jars and collections for decades. However, as is the case with many collectible items, rarity and condition can dramatically increase a coin's value. While you can find 1949 Lincoln Wheat pennies fairly easily, their value is determined by their condition, with coins in mint state or higher quality being particularly valuable to collectors. But there's one more factor that makes the 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny especially interesting and valuable: the subtle difference in its mintage. Although it may seem like a simple coin, the 1949 penny comes in several different versions that can significantly affect its value. The primary version of the 1949 penny was made of the standard bronze alloy, but there are several factors that can influence how rare or valuable a specific penny might be. For example, one of the most important things collectors look for is the condition of the coin. A 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny in pristine, uncirculated condition will fetch a higher price than one that's worn or damaged. This is especially true for the 1949's version of the coin, minted in San Francisco. The 1949's Lincoln Wheat penny has a relatively lower mintage compared to the 1949 pennies produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Because of this, the 1949's in higher grades is rarer and more sought after by collectors. Another reason the 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny draws attention is due to its historical significance. It marks the end of an era for the classic wheat design, which would be replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial design. As a result, many coin enthusiasts see the 1949 penny as one of the last pieces of the iconic wheat design before it was replaced by the more familiar Memorial reverse. But you might be wondering, how much is a 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny actually worth? In most cases, a 1949 penny in average condition is not worth much, just a few cents, maybe $1 or $2 at most. However, if you happen to own a high-quality 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny, especially the 1949's version, then you could be sitting on a small fortune. Coins in excellent condition, or those graded higher, can significantly increase in value. The rarity of the coin in fine or uncirculated condition is what really makes the difference. Now, for the big question: how much is the 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny really worth? A rare and highly sought-after 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny can be worth as much as $125,000. That's right, $125,000 for a coin that, at first glance, might seem like just a regular penny. But it's the rarity, the historical significance, and the condition of the coin that makes it so valuable. If you happen to find a 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny in your collection or among your change, it's worth taking a closer look. A coin in great condition, especially the rarer versions like the 1949s, could be worth thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. For dedicated coin collectors and investors, the 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny is a valuable treasure that holds a significant place in both American history and the world of numismatics. Whether you're a casual collector or a serious investor, the 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny represents a great example of how even the most seemingly ordinary coins can have extraordinary value. So, the next time you come across a 1949 penny, make sure to examine it carefully. You might just have a hidden gem in your hands. Top 3. The United States of America has a rich and fascinating history, and one of the best ways to explore this history is through its coins. Among the most iconic coins in American numismatics is the Lincoln Wheat penny, which has been part of American currency for more than a century. The Lincoln Wheat penny, first introduced in 1909, features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, symbolizing the nation's deep agricultural roots. Over the years, these pennies have become cherished by collectors for both their historical significance and their value. Today, we're diving into the details of one particular year, the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny. At first glance, the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny may not seem especially rare or noteworthy. After all, it was one of the many years this penny was minted. However, like with many coins, the value and significance of the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny can vary depending on several factors, including its condition, its minting location, and its rarity in certain circumstances. Understanding what makes this coin special can shed light on its surprising value and why collectors and investors are so keen on acquiring it. The 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted during a relatively peaceful period in American history, post-World War II, when the country was transitioning into an era of economic growth and stability. The U.S. economy was thriving, and coin production was back to normal after the wartime shortages of copper. The production of pennies had returned to a steady rhythm, and millions of 1954 Lincoln Wheat pennies were produced that year. These coins were minted across the three main U.S. minting facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While many of these 1954 pennies circulated through the economy, most of them were used in day-to-day transactions and gradually wore down over time. However, what collectors are really after when it comes to the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny is the condition of the coin and any special variants that might have been produced in limited numbers. As with many coins, the more pristine the condition, the more valuable it becomes. Coins that are uncirculated or in mint condition tend to be far more valuable than those that show signs of wear and tear. One of the key aspects of the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny that draws collectors' attention is the 1954 D variety. The D refers to the Denver Mint, which produced a significant portion of the 1954 pennies. In fact, the Denver Mint produced the most coins that year, but what makes the 1954 D particularly special is the possibility of finding a well-preserved coin from this mint. Coins that were produced in higher quantities sometimes have more wear or are not as well preserved, but those that remain in great condition are considered rarer and more valuable. The 1954 D penny in exceptional condition, especially those graded high by professional coin grading services, is the prize that many collectors are after. Similarly, there are also the 1954 pennies that were minted in San Francisco, marked with an S. These coins were minted in smaller quantities, which means that high-quality specimens from this mint are slightly rarer and can fetch a higher price in the market. But what sets the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny apart from many others is not just its design and minting locations, it's also about how certain coins from that year were treated, stored, or even handled. Coins that have been well preserved in private collections, those that have been properly cared for and kept in mint state, are typically much more valuable than others that have been exposed to the elements, or have been carelessly handled. This makes finding a 1954 penny in perfect condition a rare and exciting event for any collector. High-quality examples of the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny, especially from the Denver and San Francisco mints, can command impressive prices when they come up for sale. If you're a collector, you're probably wondering how much the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny is actually worth. In most cases, a worn 1954 penny is still considered quite common, and its value might be only a few cents. However, if you happen to stumble upon one in excellent condition, particularly a coin that is uncirculated or has been well preserved over the years, it could be worth significantly more. This is where the excitement of coin collecting comes in, finding that gem that could turn out to be worth far more than you ever expected. The 1954 Lincoln wheat penny, depending on its condition and the minting location, can be valued anywhere from a few dollars for a more common specimen to a much higher amount for a truly pristine example. Coins in top-tier condition, like those graded as MS-65 or higher, can be worth thousands of dollars. But the most incredible value comes with those rare coins that have remained in outstanding condition. If you happen to find a 1954 Lincoln wheat penny that is in near-perfect condition, especially one from the Denver or San Francisco mints, then you might be holding a very valuable piece of history in your hands. Now, for the exciting part, the price. A highly sought-after and well-preserved 1954 Lincoln wheat penny could be worth as much as $95,000. Yes, $95,000 for a coin that was once used for everyday transactions. The rarity, condition, and historical significance of these coins are what drive their value in the market. For those who are passionate about numismatics, the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny represents a valuable piece of American history, one that can be more than just a fascinating collectible. It can also be an incredible investment. So, if you happen to find a 1954 Lincoln wheat penny in your collection or during your coin hunts, it's worth taking the time to carefully inspect it. You might just be holding on to a rare treasure that's worth far more than its face value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny is a great reminder of how seemingly simple coins can carry so much historical value, and the possibility of a big payoff. Top 4. The United States has a long and rich tradition of coinage, with many coins capturing the essence of the country's history and culture. One of the most iconic coins to ever circulate in America is the Lincoln wheat penny. First introduced in 1909, the Lincoln wheat penny quickly became a staple of American currency, featuring a detailed image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. The design was a nod to the country's agricultural roots and its respect for one of its greatest presidents. Today, many collectors and investors look for rare and valuable versions of this coin, and one year that stands out is the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny. You might be thinking, 1957 doesn't seem like a particularly old coin. And you're right, it's not as old as some of the early Lincoln wheat pennies from the 1910s or 1920s. However, this specific year holds a unique place in the world of coin collecting, especially for those looking to build a high-value collection. While 1957 Lincoln wheat pennies were produced in relatively high numbers, their true worth is determined by the rarity of specific coins in exceptional condition, as well as the fascinating details behind this year in American history. By 1957, the Lincoln wheat penny had been in circulation for almost 5 decades. In the midst of the post-World War II economic boom, the United States was transitioning into a new era. The production of coins, including the Lincoln wheat penny, had ramped up as the country shifted back to a peaceful, prosperous time. The 1957 penny is often seen as one of the last examples of the Lincoln wheat design, which would soon be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Millions of 1957 Lincoln wheat pennies were minted that year, with coins struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, despite the large mintage, there are certain factors that make some of these coins incredibly valuable. Like many collectible items, the condition of the coin plays a significant role in determining its worth. While most 1957 pennies are common and can be found in circulation or in coin jars, it's the well-preserved examples that really stand out. In particular, the 1957 D penny, minted in Denver, has become quite sought after by collectors. So, what makes the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny so special, and why do some of these coins fetch such high prices? First, let's talk about the coin's design. By 1957, the Lincoln Wheat design had been circulating for nearly 50 years, and it had become a symbol of American history. The reverse, featuring the two stalks of wheat, was a beautiful and simple design that was beloved by many. This was the last year that the coin would feature this reverse, and the change to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959 marked the end of an era. For collectors, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny represents the last of its kind, a link to the past, and a piece of history that would never be made again. What truly makes this coin rare and valuable, however, is its condition. Most 1957 Lincoln Wheat pennies you'll find are fairly worn. After years of use in circulation, many of these coins show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, and fading details. But for those who are lucky enough to find an uncirculated 1957 penny, or one in near mint condition, the value can skyrocket. High-grade examples, especially those that have been well preserved, are sought after by collectors who are looking to complete their sets with pristine coins. The coin's value can be further enhanced if it has been professionally graded by reputable numismatic organizations, as these graded coins tend to command premium prices on the market. Another reason the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny is so valuable is its rarity in certain conditions. The 1957 D penny, in particular, has attracted attention in recent years. Although the Denver Mint produced a large number of 1957 pennies, the ones that remain in excellent condition are relatively scarce. Coins from the Denver Mint often feature sharp details and clearer strikes, but as they circulated for decades, many of these coins became worn and damaged. Finding one that remains in near mint condition, especially one that's been well kept or stored properly, can be incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. For those lucky enough to have a pristine 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny in their collection, you might be wondering just how much it's worth. A standard 1957 penny in worn condition might only be worth a few cents, but when you start to get into higher grades, the value rises significantly. If you happen to have a 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny in exceptional condition, particularly one that's been graded as MS-65 or higher, the price can jump dramatically. In fact, a 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny, especially from the Denver Mint, in perfect condition could be worth as much as $85,000. That's right, $85,000. The high value of this coin is due to its rarity in excellent condition, its historical significance as the last year of the wheat design, and its demand among collectors. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny serves as a reminder of how something as simple as a penny can hold immense value when combined with rarity and historical importance. So, the next time you're going through your coin collection or checking your change, take a moment to examine any 1957 pennies you might come across. If you find one in great condition, especially one from the Denver Mint, you might just be holding a piece of American history worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. Remember, sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones that seem the most ordinary at first glance. Top 5. The United States has an impressive history when it comes to coinage, with each coin telling a unique story about the country's past. One of the most iconic and enduring coins in U.S. history is the Lincoln 1-cent penny. First introduced in 1909, this penny became a representation of the country's dedication to honoring President Abraham Lincoln, as well as its deep agricultural roots. Over the years, the Lincoln penny has seen many design changes and years of circulation, but there's one specific year that stands out among the rest. 1966. At first glance, the 1966 Lincoln penny might seem like just another ordinary penny. After all, it's one of the many pennies that were produced in the mid-20th century, a time when coin designs were well established. However, it's not as simple as it seems. The 1966 Lincoln penny, despite being fairly common, holds a place of great interest among coin collectors and investors due to its unique history, subtle design characteristics, and the potential for surprising value. To understand what makes the 1966 Lincoln penny special, it's important to look at the era in which it was minted. By the 1960s, the design of the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for nearly 6 decades. In 1959, the reverse of the Lincoln penny had undergone a significant change, with the wheat stalks replaced by the iconic Lincoln Memorial design. The new design was intended to honor the nation's 16th president, and it would become a hallmark of the penny for decades to come. The 1966 penny, therefore, was part of this new era in U.S. coinage, representing the transition from the older wheat-backed design to the modern memorial version that we are familiar with today. While most of the 1966 Lincoln pennies that were produced featured the Lincoln Memorial design, some of them have become highly desirable because of certain characteristics that set them apart. It's not just the design change from wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial that makes the 1966 penny intriguing, but the possibility of finding one in exceptional condition. A common misconception is that all pennies from this era are worth only a few cents. However, just like any other collectible item, the value of a coin depends on its rarity, condition, and historical importance. The 1966 penny is often found in circulated, worn condition. After all, pennies are one of the most widely used forms of currency, so most 1966 coins would have been in constant circulation. However, what makes this coin so special to collectors is the opportunity to find one in pristine, uncirculated condition. A coin that has been kept in excellent shape, without significant wear, scratches, or discoloration, can fetch a much higher price. Coins that have been well preserved and remain in near perfect condition are often given higher grades, such as MS65, MS66, or even higher, which can dramatically increase their value. One of the reasons that 1966 Lincoln pennies are of interest to collectors is that some of them were struck with subtle errors or characteristics that make them stand out. Error coins, in which there was a mistake during the minting process, are highly sought after because of their rarity and the fact that they can't be found in regular circulation. For example, coins that were struck with double die or other mistakes during their production process are especially valuable. Although 1966 Lincoln pennies didn't have as many dramatic errors as some other years, collectors are still on the lookout for any that stand out in terms of rare characteristics or minting anomalies. The 1966 penny is also significant because it represents a unique time in American history. The year 1966 was a period of great social and cultural change in the United States. The country was in the midst of the Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War, and numerous other transformative events. The coin itself, bearing the image of President Lincoln and his memorial, acts as a reminder of the country's complex history and its ongoing evolution. In many ways, holding a 1966 penny is like holding a small piece of history from an era that shaped the modern United States. But how much is the 1966 Lincoln penny actually worth? Most 1966 pennies are common and circulate as everyday currency, but their value can increase significantly if they are in excellent condition or exhibit rare characteristics. While many pennies from 1966 are worth only a few cents, there are certain coins in the series that can fetch far higher prices. In particular, those that are in uncirculated condition, or those that feature unique characteristics, can be worth thousands of dollars, especially if they are certified and graded by a professional coin grading service. The most exceptional 1966 Lincoln pennies, those that are in mint or near mint condition, can command prices that go far beyond their original face value. In fact, a pristine, high-grade 1966 Lincoln penny could be worth as much as $75,000. Yes, $75,000. This is the kind of value that collectors and investors dream of finding in their collections. For a coin that originally circulated as a mere cent, the price tag is nothing short of astonishing. What makes the 1966 Lincoln penny so valuable, aside from its condition, is its place in the larger story of American coinage. As one of the last years in the history of the Lincoln Memorial design, the 1966 penny holds a special place in the hearts of collectors who seek to complete their sets, or to own a piece of history. It's a rare combination of rarity, historical significance, and condition that makes the 1966 Lincoln penny so valuable. So, if you come across a 1966 Lincoln penny, it's worth taking a moment to inspect it carefully. While most of them may not be worth more than a few cents, if you happen to find one that's in exceptional condition or has a rare characteristic, you might just have a treasure on your hands. A coin worth $75,000 could very well be sitting in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, the 1966 Lincoln penny is a reminder that sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coins can be worth more than you ever imagined. Top 6. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, with seemingly ordinary coins turning out to be worth a small fortune. One coin that often catches the eye of both seasoned numismatists and casual collectors alike is the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, it might appear to be just another penny, a small, copper-colored coin that many people have in their coin jars or found in their pockets over the years. But what if I told you that a 1980 Lincoln penny could be worth far more than you might expect? The story of the Lincoln penny is an enduring one, stretching all the way back to its introduction in 1909. Over the years, the design has undergone several changes, but one thing has remained constant: the image of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, has been on the front of the penny for over a century. This iconic design, first created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, was originally released to honor Lincoln's 100th birthday. Today, Lincoln pennies are not only seen as currency but also as historical pieces that capture the spirit of America. By 1980, the Lincoln penny had already undergone significant changes. The most noticeable was the shift in the design of the reverse side. From the wheat stalks that were a part of the penny's design for decades, the reverse of the coin was changed in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial, symbolizing the lasting legacy of one of the nation's greatest leaders. By 1980, the penny had already been circulating for more than 70 years with this design, and it would continue in circulation for many years to come. So, what makes the 1980 Lincoln penny so special? For many people, the 1980 penny might seem unremarkable. It was a common coin produced in large numbers, and there was nothing about it that stood out at the time. However, in the world of coin collecting, condition and rarity are everything, and even a coin that seems like an everyday penny can be worth much more than its face value if it meets the right criteria. The value of the 1980 Lincoln penny is determined by several factors, but the most important is its condition. As with any coin, the better the condition, the higher the potential value. Most pennies you come across from 1980 will likely show signs of wear, with visible scratches and discoloration, as they'd been circulating for decades. But what if you could find one that's nearly perfect, a coin that's been kept in mint condition for all these years? Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition are highly desirable to collectors, and the 1980 Lincoln penny is no exception. A coin that looks as if it was just struck at the mint, with sharp details and no visible wear, is incredibly valuable. These uncirculated pennies are not something you come across every day, but when they are found, they can fetch a significant price. If you're lucky enough to have one in your collection, you may have stumbled upon a hidden treasure. The 1980 Lincoln penny's value can be further increased if it has been professionally graded. Grading is the process in which a coin is assessed based on its condition, and a higher grade means the coin is worth more. A coin that is graded at MS65 or higher, meaning it is in near perfect or perfect condition, will naturally command a higher price. This is where it gets exciting. Coins that are graded at the highest levels of quality can sell for thousands of dollars, far beyond their face value. But there's another factor that makes the 1980 Lincoln penny particularly interesting to collectors: the possibility of rare minting errors. While the 1980 penny wasn't known for a high number of errors, there are still cases where a small mistake at the mint has caused certain coins to stand out. A coin with a double die, for example, is where part of the design has been struck twice, leading to a noticeable doubling effect on the lettering or imagery. These error coins are highly sought after and can fetch a premium price on the market, especially if the error is rare or unusual. If you happen to find a 1980 Lincoln penny with such an error, it could be a highly valuable addition to your collection. Now, let's talk about how much a 1980 Lincoln penny can be worth. While most of these coins in average or worn condition are worth only a few cents, the ones that are in uncirculated or near perfect condition can be worth significantly more. In fact, if you happen to find a 1980 Lincoln penny that is in near perfect condition, or even better, one with a minting error, it could be worth a substantial amount of money. For the rare, high-grade 1980 Lincoln pennies, particularly those with minting errors or uncirculated condition, collectors are willing to pay a premium. In some cases, a 1980 Lincoln penny could be worth as much as $55,000. Yes, that's $55,000 for a penny that you would have originally paid only 1 cent for. It's incredible to think about, but it's the reality in the world of coin collecting, where rarity, condition, and historical significance come together to create a market for coins that many people wouldn't expect. So, the next time you come across a 1980 Lincoln penny in your change, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to examine it closely. If you find that it's in excellent condition or shows signs of a rare minting error, you might have a coin worth thousands of dollars. Even though it may seem like just another penny, it could very well be a hidden gem. Keep an eye out for those pristine, uncirculated coins because they could be worth more than you ever imagined. And who knows? You could be holding a 1980 Lincoln penny worth $55,000. Top 7. When it comes to U.S. coinage, there's a particular fascination with the Lincoln 1-cent penny. This small, yet powerful symbol of American currency has been in circulation since 1909, and over the years, the penny has gone through various changes in design. From its humble beginnings to its status as one of the most widely collected coins in history, the Lincoln penny continues to captivate collectors. Among the many years of the Lincoln penny series, one year stands out as being particularly interesting for coin enthusiasts. 1981. At first glance, a 1981 Lincoln penny might seem like just another ordinary coin. It's easy to overlook it in a sea of change, but the truth is, this penny can be worth much more than its face value, if you know what to look for. The story of the 1981 Lincoln penny starts with its design, which still featured the famous image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The design had already been in place for decades by this point, with the Lincoln Memorial first replacing the wheat stalks in 1959. However, while the design had become well known, certain factors make the 1981 penny special, especially when it comes to collecting and investing. The first thing to consider is the general production of pennies in 1981. The U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies that year, which means they were widely circulated and used by Americans in everyday transactions. Because of this, most 1981 Lincoln pennies are easy to find, but this doesn't necessarily mean that they are worth little. In fact, it's often the pennies that seem the most ordinary that end up being worth something surprising. What makes a 1981 penny stand out from others is its condition, rarity, and any potential minting errors that could increase its value significantly. When we talk about the value of the 1981 Lincoln penny, it's essential to understand the importance of condition. Like many other coins, the quality and preservation of a penny can make all the difference in its worth. Most of the pennies you encounter will show signs of wear, with visible scratches, discoloration, or damage from years of circulation. While these pennies are still part of the overall coinage history, they don't carry the same level of value as a coin in pristine or near-perfect condition. Uncirculated 1981 Lincoln pennies, those that were never used in circulation and have been kept in mint condition, are the real treasures. These coins are not only harder to come by, but they are also worth significantly more than their circulated counterparts. A well-preserved 1981 penny, free from scratches, dents, or discoloration, could be worth hundreds of dollars to collectors, especially if it has been graded highly by a professional coin grading service. These high-grade coins, typically graded as MS-65 or higher, are sought after because of their near-perfect appearance and the rarity of finding them in such excellent condition. In addition to the condition of the coin, another factor that can drastically increase its value is the presence of minting errors. Coin collectors are often on the lookout for coins that have been struck incorrectly during the minting process, resulting in unique features or characteristics that make them stand out. For example, if a coin is double struck, or if there's a misalignment in the design, it could be considered an error coin, and error coins are often worth significantly more than regular, correctly minted coins. While the 1981 Lincoln penny wasn't known for widespread errors, there are some examples of rare mistakes that were made during the minting process. These coins, due to their rarity and error characteristics, can be highly valuable. A double die coin from 1981, for instance, could attract serious attention from collectors, and its price would rise considerably. So, if you come across a 1981 penny that has any unusual features or irregularities in the design, it might just be an error coin that's worth far more than its face value. Beyond errors, another reason why the 1981 Lincoln penny stands out is its place in American coinage history. By the time the 1981 penny was minted, the design of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse had already been in circulation for more than 2 decades. This was a time when many collectors were already turning their attention to newer coins, while the classic Lincoln Memorial design became somewhat overlooked. However, collectors with an eye for detail knew that every year a new penny was produced, it could represent a potential hidden gem. The 1981 penny, in particular, holds historical significance for being one of the last pennies of the 20th century before the mint began making changes to coin production in the years that followed. Now, let's take a closer look at the actual value of the 1981 Lincoln penny. Most of these pennies are worth very little, typically only 1 cent, which is their face value. However, when they are in excellent condition, the value can rise dramatically. Uncirculated 1981 pennies can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to several hundred, depending on their condition. But for those that are in top-tier condition and possibly have rare minting errors, the value can be significantly higher. For those rare, uncirculated 1981 pennies that are in mint condition and have been properly graded, the price can rise to surprising levels. One particularly well-preserved penny, whether it's free of errors or includes a rare minting mistake, could be worth as much as $52,000. Yes, $52,000 for a single penny that you might not have given a second thought to. It's amazing to think that a coin that originally had a value of just 1 cent can now be worth tens of thousands of dollars, simply because of its condition and the rarity of its characteristics. So, if you happen to have a 1981 Lincoln penny lying around in your collection or your coin jar, it's worth taking a second look. If you find one that's in great condition or has a unique feature, you could be holding on to a small fortune. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden treasures, and the 1981 Lincoln penny is just one example of how even the most unassuming coins can become extremely valuable. Keep your eyes open, and you might just discover that a simple penny could be worth far more than you ever imagined.